So before we begin, I just want to say something to the guys that are here since the beginning. You guys know who you are. You guys tell me when it was just pure, raw, unfiltered, breaking algorithms, going absolutely insane, trying to make money by any means necessary. It was pure chaos. You saw how I build, how I move, how I think. And you're going to notice that most, if not all, of those old videos are gone. And yeah, that's on purpose. Right? That old version of me, where it was just moving money in the shadows, was chaos. But it taught me everything that I know now. And this new version that I'm going into is an evolution of that, where it's the same person, it's the same brain, the same passion for growth and the psychology behind it, but it's just a bigger vision because now I have the opportunity to go and do something greater. And I'm not saying or putting down the old industry, okay? It's great. It's a great way to make a lot of money fast. And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm better than you guys, that's why I'm moving on to something else. I just think that there's more to life that I want, and I don't think that it's going to take me there. And this new path that I'm taking, I want you guys to come with me. And if not, thank you for your support. Right? If you ever learned something from me, or even if you just watched because you wanted to see how I think, don't miss it now. It's what I used to talk about, what I did behind the curtain, is now going to be on full display, at public, at scale, for you to watch. And hopefully you could learn and implement the things that I talk about. To most, 500 subs means nothing. It would make an intro like this, trying to just talk to you guys one-on-one. But to me, it meant everything. And I would read your guys' comments on YouTube day in and day out, just constantly. And I would go on Telegram and text you guys for hours, just losing sleep, because I felt this responsibility that of anyone you could ask for answers, you came to me. And if this quick little intro made it to this new crowd of people, clicks off, so be it. The only thing I can leave you right now is you were early once. Don't miss it again. Wake up. How we've been making money in Q4. Okay. This is a crazy title. I understand it. 132 grand, 30 days, at 20 years old. I'm still pissed. I'm going to get into that. It's going to be a long video. It's going to be a very long video. How did I do it? Okay. I want you to ask yourself this question. I know you know the answer to this. How did I do it? You know the answer to this. Everybody knows the answer to this subconsciously. You've seen it all over the place. Every single influencer that you follow, it's all the same answer. You know the real answer, but in today's society, when you're sold the dream that any business model works, you just have to give it 6 months and you're rich. When you're sold that dream and you actually drop out and now you have this clarity of what it's like to actually run a business and make money, it's your cope, it's your seething cope to hide behind the fact that this is the truth, and you want to reassure yourself that it's a lie. But subconsciously, you know what the truth is, but it's uncomfortable, so you don't accept it. How did I make that money that fast at 20 years old? You've known this answer. You've known this answer. This is going to be a long video, guys. Yo, future me, I didn't really think I needed to state this, but one, it wasn't my course. I was just the operator behind it. And two, obviously, all of that isn't profit. And even if it was, I blew all the money on that on more courses. And what makes this video interesting is any monkey could sit down on the computer and make 100 grand selling a course, right? And people teach the wrong aspects of it. People teach, so basically you make them a click funnels and then you run some copy and then the via sell. It's not what people want, okay? This is where everyone gets it wrong. This is where all the growth operators, I hate using that term, but we're going to use it so YouTube puts me in the right niche subcategory for this video. This is where all the growth operators get it wrong. It doesn't start from the funnel. It starts from the brand itself and how the brand conveys itself. And I fell into this position, okay? Anybody could make this money. I came in here with no experience. I started off with no personal brand, not even a funnel. Not even a ClickFunnels free trial, nothing. No ads, and that's what makes this video special. This is going to be completely different from every other video you've seen before where I'm talking about, where you've seen them talking about, ClickFunnels and then having a setter that goes to a closer, then hiring the sales manager to make sure that everything's all right, and then, doing the copy, and actually it's the AI doing the copy now because it's AI operating. No, it's going to be completely different from that. You're not going to learn growth operating from this video. What you're going to learn from this video is a completely different perspective on how I tackled the same problems that those guys get hired for, okay? With a very difficult task. No personal brand. Anybody can make 100K a month in info, but for them to be able to do that, they need this huge online presence, or at least create one first, and then they make that money. Anybody can do this. You're definitely going to do it if you partner with me, but that's a different story. So because this is my first video, the first video you're going to see, I do need to give myself a little bit of authority because look, I'm in on the joke, man. Look at me. Curly hair, you know, I got the muscles, the watch, the black shirt. Okay, I get what I look like. I'm actually going to take this off because I don't want it scratching against the MacBook, and that's all you hear the entire time. So I'm going to give you a quick 30,000 foot view on myself and prove why I'm not that, right? Because I get it. I look like the stereotype, but in reality, I'm what the stereotype copies, okay? So this is just some quick high-level overview on my achievements so far. And if you could call me out on a single one of these as being a lie, DM me on Instagram. I will pay you out because I have receipts and photos and videos. You could even Google me on some of this stuff. So everything here is factual. I'm actually going to put some, you know what, let's go through a quick one real quick. This one you could literally Google me on. If you Google my name, I'll do it right here. Bang, 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 bang. Hit the first link, click that. You can read these notes, and there I am. That's what I was doing before this. So why am I even making this video right now? Because with the stereotype, at least that I see with watching informational videos, is that they're empty calories, okay? They're empty calories, and you know that they're empty calories because it's a funnel to a pipeline to a course because they're trying to sell you something. So while it's an informational video, they're probably giving out 1% of what they're actually doing or just completely lying so they sound impressive. So you would then, you know, get into their pipeline and buy their info product. I don't have anything to sell you. I don't have a course. I don't have nothing. Right? I'm not doing this because, you know, I like vanity. I'm doing this because you are nobody without a personal brand. Okay? I want you, if you don't believe me, I want you to close your eyes right now. Think of the four walls that you're surrounded by. How often do you leave those four walls? How often do you leave this room? If you're grinding right now, the answer should be never. Never. I spent years without ever leaving my room. I would on purpose not buy things on bulk just so I could have an extra 30 minutes of my day just to go outside and get things from the store because that's how often I didn't leave the room. Okay? So if you're not existing in the real world and you're not existing in the digital world, I don't have any idea how you'll be successful at all. I just cannot process it. No one knows you in real life and no one knows you digitally. Okay. So you need to have this. It's not like some cringy, oh, I'm doing this brand because I'm trying to sell an info product and I'm just going to put out scam videos that just hook people's attention. No, it's completely the opposite. And, you know, to disprove this theory, this is Alex Becker, the GOAT. It's worth $200 million, right? All your favorite influencers like Hormozy, the WAP team, Grant Cardone, ClickFunnels, Tony Robbins, they all use this guy's software. And the only reason why this guy is even $200 million is because he started posting on YouTube 14 years ago, giving away absolutely everything he knew about search engine optimization. And that's what led him to being to the point where he's now worth $200 million. So why I'm even touching base on this right now is because I want you to come to this video to realize that I'm giving you the exact playbook and step-by-step of what I've been doing, not because I'm trying to sell you something, but because I'm actually trying to educate you. It's not one of those empty calorie videos where you watch it and you didn't really learn anything. I'm giving you the exact perspective on how I tackled this problem, how I solved it, and maybe you could learn something and get a different perspective on how to solve the issues that you're facing right now. So, B2B, value-based content can only scale your business even if you're not selling info. Alex Becker never sold info. I'm not selling info. I think you're an idiot if you don't sell info, to be frank, but I'm not doing it right now. So maybe in the future, right, when I have more and more experience on the topic, then I'll be more comfortable into actually like charging money for the information that I'm saying. But as of right now, I don't want to, because as this case wasn't just luck on how I made all this money, it also was very untraditional, and this is not a one size fits all option. So until I go through that and experience that and come successful in that, then I'll think about actually, having a community where I could talk about it. So if you want a more low level detail on the importance of a personal brand, how to grow the personal brand, and just all the factors behind it on how it could actually help you succeed, follow the IG. Now, I'm saying follow the Instagram because if you follow the Instagram and you DM me that you're following the Instagram, I will give you that video. I'm never going to post it on YouTube, okay? I'll give you that video, and I'll give you access to a community where I'm going to post one video that if I so thought that like this was course-worthy material, I would put it on there for free. It's not really free, because what I want from you is the leverage to grow my brand. So you help me grow my brand. I help you with scaling or any questions that you may have. All you have to do is find me on Instagram. Wow, hidden CTA, the start of the video, because it converts better with a lead magnet. Maybe this guy knows a thing or two. Wow, maybe the guy who makes 132K in a month in 30 days, if it's his number one priority to be building out his personal brand and leaking everything that he knows and just building it out, because the number one priority right now should be building out the personal brand. It probably should be my number one priority right now. And it would be smart to, take this guy's word and reverse engineer the content that he's meticulously been planning out, so I don't have to pay for the $20,000 course at the end of it, right? I'm just telling you what I would do. You can do whatever the hell you want. If you still don't believe me, let's just do a quick cost-benefit analysis on this, right? You have two business owners, identical company, identical SOPs. Everyone treats SOPs like this sacred book of business that if someone ever got access to it, it's over, their company's ruined. That's not the case, okay? If you look at a roofer, right? His book of business, his SOPs are going to be exactly identical. Okay, there might be another roofer that's better at marketing, and that's why he's more successful than the other. You're not leaking anything. Okay, everyone has access to ChatGPT and Google to find the information. So it's not like you're hiding anything from anyone. And you're actually shooting yourself in the foot by not giving away this information for free. Because if you did, right, you would actually gain leverage and build a tons of organic marketing and make connections and stay on top of everyone's radar. So if there's two roofers, one has a personal brand and one has an excuse not to, right? The benefit of that is that the guy with the personal brand will be on top of everyone's radar, still doesn't leak any SOPs, okay? And has tons of organic marketing and has tons of connections. The guy that had the excuse not to, okay, will stay under everyone's radar, doesn't leak SOPs still, okay, doesn't have organic marketing and has no connections because he's surrounded by the four walls he's in. No one knows who the hell he is. So why would they ever buy his service? So that's the benefit. And what's the cost of even doing this? Well, nothing. Instagram is free. And the cost, if you learned anything about economics, you would know what opportunity cost means. The cost is everything if you don't have one. Everything. Because the connections you could have made, the life you could have lived, you'll never know because you've never started. So, two things that should be racing through your mind right now is, okay, I just found a channel that's not for me. Okay, it's for business owners and offer owners that are going to see this guy's business acumen and be like, man, this guy's pretty good at something that I'm lacking, or I just don't have the mental bandwidth to implement these things that he's an expert at. Maybe I should partner with him. So if you're one of those guys that doesn't have the business or doesn't have the money to go out there and buy like a $20,000 course, maybe, because you caught me early, should implement the things that I'm saying right now and watch throughout the end of this video. So let's get on with the rest of the video. Get on with the heist. Not really a heist, I'm just selling an info product, but it's the best word to hook your attention right now. So what went right and why I'm still pissed, okay? I'm gonna give you a quick TLDR on the situation. So, mentor, $5 million in a few years at 26. Pause. That is insane. Okay, and the problem with that was that there's no personal brand, right? He had 0 Instagram accounts. I mean, him and I just made our Instagram accounts like a few days ago. You look at it, it only has 77 followers on it. right? He had no YouTube, no Instagram, no X, nothing. Not only that, but the line of business that we're in, like the unethical marketing, where we're talking about like exposing loopholes and algorithm tricks, cannot be spoken about online because the subject is taboo, right? And I'm not saying this because we posted a few videos and they got 0 views, and I'm like, oh, I must be shadow banned. No, with everything that I do meticulous research on it, not just through ChatGPT. Because ChatGPT can give you a rundown. It's never gonna battle your thought. It's always gonna agree with what you say. So the only way to battle and challenge your ideas is to find and research where the real evidence actually lies. And so what I did was I went, instead of just asking the bot, I read articles from, I don't know, maybe the vice president of engineering at YouTube. A lot of people act like social media is against you and they don't want you to know how the algorithm works. Okay, think of that for a second, okay? If they gave you how the algorithm works and you were able to use that information, you would get more views, which makes more people stay hooked on the platform, which gives them more money. They want you to know absolutely everything there is about the algorithm. Just a lot of people are too lazy to read about it. Okay? This is a quick 20-minute read. And what I found out is that we had zero chance of ever growing a personal brand from the first place, but I took that as a challenge. If you read here, they said, we've invested significant time and money toward making sure it doesn't find its way to broader audiences through our recommendation system. So when a multi-billion-dollar company talks about significant time and money, okay, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars with the best engineers in the world, means that it's never going to pop up in the recommended section, okay? So today, Borderline Content gets most of its views from sources other than non-subscribe recommendations. This was the first light bulb moment. I'm going to get into that. They said, today, consumption of Borderline content that comes from our recommendations is significantly below 1%. So I don't even know what significantly below 1% is. He could have said 0.5%. No, he said significantly. It means zero, okay? So, the question remains, how do you build a personal brand on something that you cannot market? The cards are stacked against you. Well, it's the only thing that you cannot market, but it's not that you cannot censor it, right? Word of mouth is something that can't be censored. So it's exactly what we went full head first into. Word of mouth marketing. I'm going to talk about why this Telegram group chat right here was the make or break, and if we made any money, and how we exploited that. But first, to understand how to use your market, you kind of have to understand some basics in marketing. I'm going to hold your hand through this part real quick. So in marketing, there's this principle called the AIDA funnel, right? It's awareness, interest, decision, and action. In this book that I read, marketing and with personal branding online and being an educator, it's a little bit different, right? Because we're not selling clothes here and we're finding a pain point. No, we're selling a mirror of who you are to the person that you want to influence. So it's a little bit different. And the way it works is awareness, branding, educating, and influencing. And we're going to go through every single stage. We're going to go through awareness, branding, educating, and influencing. And then the action part and the sales and service part is going to be in part 2. It's already linked. It's already uploaded. It's going to be the first link in the bottom. The reason why I did that is because YouTube wants you to break videos into part 2. We're going to get into every single algorithm trick that I know that I've been studying for the past few years now. And what kind of makes me happy is that I could even talk about this publicly. This is one of the things that I enjoy even doing, just teaching you about this, because I don't have to pull tricks behind the curtain and you don't know about it. Now I could kind of humble brag and be like, yeah, see how smart I am? Haha. Different story, whatever. So first thing, awareness, right? With the marketing aspect. I'm going to go through all 3 pillars of business, right? That make any business, the marketing, the sales, and the service aspect. You don't have a business if you have marketing and service with no sales. You don't have a business without marketing, just having sales and service. So I'm going to go over the 3 pillars so we don't miss a beat here. So you learn absolutely everything from this new perspective. Number 1 is the awareness stage, right? And awareness stage is, what the hell's going on in this market and how do we solve it? Like, what is our target market's pain point? There's 2 ways of formatting this, right? So you learn this in, sales. The way that people pitch you is through what's called a problems first syntax and a goals first syntax. And that's kind of just the human psychology on how they want their answers to be solved. So when your target market has a pain point, which is nothing but problems, you want to give a nothing but answers approach, right? No dopamine, no what I like to call candy content, right? It's you're not watching it for the value of it, you're more or less watching it for the entertainment aspect of it. So we had a market where it was nothing but problems. So you would think that the number one approach would be, the Alex Hormozy approach, no dopamine, and just straight to the point content. But there's also the goals first approach, where it's targeting a younger audience because these are people that don't have experience in business, have never been in a business, haven't even faced any of the obstacles that come with a business. So all they're left with, the only urge that they want to solve is the desires that they have innate in themselves, where it's like, oh, I want the new car, I want the new clothes, or I want the status and the fame. Okay. And when it came to the industry that we're in and it was nothing but problems, I still did the entertainment aspect of that. And I'm going to give you a low level detail on that later. So, first, this is basic business 101, right? If you have you can't even see it, hold on. The only way to make money, right? Everyone's heard this saying, the only way to make money is to take money. There's no such thing as making money. So, we've identified the problem. Right? The first thing you want to do is identify the problem and then identify the solutions to those problems. And then once you have those two answers, you want your service to be the vehicle that takes someone from problem one to the solution. And, you can see I did like half a limbo because, 132K, half a limbo. I'm not funny, I get it. But we identified what is the biggest problem in our industry. Number one, scam gurus. That is the biggest problem in everyone's industry. Number two, patches, gatekeeping, and no source of information at all. Like, we were in an industry where not even ChatGPT can help you. You can't even ask ChatGPT for the answer for this. And the reason why is because our industry was essentially us versus the best engineers in the world working at Meta. So the only reason why we're even able to scrape any amount of money from these guys was because while they were busy having meetings about meetings that don't matter, we were diving headfirst, money hungry, just throbbing at the mouth, trying to make any dime we could, and we just went headfirst into it. Problem with that is that these guys are so smart, and if even 500 of us had the same method of making money out of the billions of users they have in their platform, gone. The method doesn't work anymore. It's never going to work again. It's patched, right? And so, how do you solve that with an industry that's forever changing? And we're like, okay, the number one way to solve this is we have to build authority and build testimonies. But we don't have a brand yet. We don't have the info product yet. So we have to build massive authority first. Then in our solution, we have to give out constant updates, keep it a small network, and be the first initial source of truth so people would even give us the chance to even be the authority for them. So we're diving head first into branding, right? Like I said, we had two ways to format our content, the B2B approach versus the B2C approach. So I had the opportunity to direct two personal brands at the same time, right? Because I wanted to weigh the pros and the cons of each. Because most operators right now, they don't have this opportunity to be able to pull something off like this. But since I was in that position, that's why we went two different routes. And it actually worked amazing. Here's what I learned. So the B2B angle of the tag was, this is the, you could say, offer owner. Some of you guys may know him as Chandler, right? He was the main mentor. And, I had to leverage the main things that we had already. So he had, the crazy analytics. He was a bit older, right? So he was going to resonate with an older demographic. And we wanted to just optimize his platform and his content style to be straight, serious, tier one buyer type optimized. There's 4 stages of buyers. I'm going to go over them really quickly. Tier one buyer is someone that comes in, doesn't ask any questions, doesn't have any objections, and just like, take my money, please. And you just give them the checkout link and it's done. And the stage 2 buyer would be, someone that comes in, has some valid questions, right? Some valid concerns, maybe one objection, right? And then you can just handle that and you're good. Stage 3 buyer is tons of questions. He's done tons of research on your topic. He's read every Reddit thread there is about you. He has like a million objections. He might still buy at the end. And then there's stage 4 buyers where it's like the guy has nothing but questions, nothing but objections, and he didn't even have the money in the first place. So we wanted to make it as less friction as possible and just pure type 1 buyer optimized. And this is how we did it, with no dopamine content and BOFU-centric mind and play. So I'm going to run everything down because I know that even a beginner is watching this video. There's top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel, right? It's called tofu, mofu, and bofu. So BOFU-centric means that he filters out every non-serious person that doesn't actually believe in the idea of making money from this business model, or doesn't believe that he has the answers for those problems. And so that's how we had to style his content. Just calm, straight to the point, exactly how Hormozy does it, for example. So no dopamine, as you can tell, the thumbnails, there were no thumbnails, right? The titles, they weren't clickbaity. They were like, X strategy update. No thumbnail, no nothing. Right? It doesn't even talk about the niche. And then when I had the opportunity to A/B split test that, right, I went the complete opposite route, where it was just the B2C angle of the tech. Because, I know. Look at me. Whether I like it or not, I'm going to resonate with a younger demographic. So I have to, in a sense, play my part if I want to get the max reach that I possibly could. So what I did, nothing but dopamine, right? You can tell, hyper edited thumbnails. I would up the saturation on them just so my CTR would be higher. I would, do super clickbaity titles just to get the first initial click on there and just try to optimize watch time as much as possible. Like, look at this title. Just made $1 billion in, blank, whatever. And just completely edited, hyper edited thumbnails, clean edits, like acting like an idiot for the most part, swearing, just optimizing for an enjoyable video. And this was very top of funnel centric, right? So I was trying to get absolutely everyone that I could, right? Even someone that's not in this business model to be interested in me and just hear me out and just watch this video and just be very views maximized. You can see here, my videos would get like 2.8, 2.8, 2.1, 1.7, 2.8 views, right? For him, you could tell it was like 400 views, 700 views, 721 views. Longer videos, just cracking jokes in between, right? Because I wanted people to have a good time watching this video rather than people watching my videos just to get an answer. While it was value-based, and that's what kept people engaged, the whole methodology of it was, I want not just the people that are into industry engaged, but people that are outside of the industry to also be engaged in listening what I have to say. Quick pop quiz for you, because I'm actually trying to teach you something. The best way to teach you is with the test. Who do you think was responsible for making more money? Obviously him, okay? And, one of the main things that I learned about this is that it's not about the views, it's about who's watching. While I got more views, right, and he got less, his angle of attack was actually more profitable because the people that were watching were actually the serious tier 1 buyer types that just want an answer to their problems. So if you knew about that from the start, then why didn't you just double down on that? Well, here comes the problem. You can't just double down on, minimizing the views just to be tier 1 buyer type optimized. Like, it would make sense. Okay, if you're just doing the most profitable one, why don't you have 2 profitable ones leading into the same info product and then maximizing your money there? Because it wouldn't work as well, because the only angle of attack that we had was the word of mouth approach, because everything else would be completely censored. And my top of funnel approach was just directly CTA heavy into growing this group chat, which is the most amazing hidden opt-in known to man. It's where I think a lot of people get wrong in the industry is you start building sales dissonance before the person even gave you their name, before the person even gave you their number, before you knew anything about them. You already built an enormous amount of sales dissonance by having that opt-in page, because now they understand what's going to happen. People act like everyone's stupid for some reason, right? I give you my email, I give you my phone number, and it says like, oh, you consent to me messaging you, I know what's gonna happen. You're gonna pitch me on the thing that I don't really want. Maybe I just wanted like the free training you were giving out. People already have the first thing that they say in their mind is like, I'm not buying this. Like, I'm gonna put this in here, haha, but they're not selling me. So I'm not in the business of herding cats. What I mean by that is that a cat's gonna do what a cat's gonna do. You can't herd a cat. And it's especially not gonna do something if there isn't a treat at the end of the road. Okay? And a lot of people do this wrong. They'd be like, oh yeah, well no, I have the lead magnet, right? I have the free training, but then they opt into the free training. And it's not really that good of a free training. They realize that the free training was just to get their information. What I did was that instead of having an opt-in page, I had a hidden opt-in network, because people aren't joining thinking that they're opted in. People are joining because, okay, this is a community that is going to accelerate my business. I'm going to be able to talk to these guys one-on-one, and I'm going to achieve the lead magnets that they promised in the last video by joining this network. So while they were joining a group chat, I was getting every single one of their information, because on Telegram, I could DM them personally. Nobody else had the contacts of everyone that was in the group, but I did. So with this, it started a whole spiral. More people joined the group. They're like, wait, this is really good value. They start talking about it to their friends. They start sharing it. And it just starts in this upward spiral of momentum of just growth. Now, with the educating aspect and how we tackle that is just through, figuring out what the best alpha would be. And I'm not saying this like in like the Andrew Tate, like manosphere sense. I'm saying this as in, what was our edge in the market and how are we going to be different from everybody else that's already making videos on this? Because there were other competitors that were selling courses that were a lot larger than us, that, maybe had a few thousand views per video and maybe had like a few thousand subs, and we were starting from zero, right? And so what we did was definitely the most controversial, probably the smartest thing I've done. And it was the biggest instant authority play we could have done. And we leaked absolutely everything there was about this business. And I know this sounds backwards, but it works. I'm gonna explain why it works. Like, as you can see here, like, he was just straight to the point, just on a whiteboard, just writing everything he knows about the business down. Just the whole plan of attack here was opening up our SOPs, hitting record, and talking for hours and just posting it, not editing it out, not gatekeeping anything. Like here, I'm doing like talking about my data sets, how I track my analytics to be successful, and then like I, also sprinkle in memes right here just to keep the retention high. Being broke is hard, becoming rich is hard, choose your hard. Like I try to make people laugh, but also give value at the same time. And we would nerd out. Like, I know I don't look like a geek about this stuff, but I am super highly, can't even say the word because of YouTube's profanity guidelines. Let's just say I'm high agency about the small details. So I would go in leaking absolutely everything I knew. I mean, I'm talking about like the source code for Google's reCAPTCHA v3. If you know what that is, like the cars you have to submit to prove you're not a bot. I would go into detail of that, just talking about reading the source code through that and teaching people how it works. Absolutely everything. We're talking about, softwares on how to jailbreak your iPhone and like, fake your location. Incredibly hard to do. Apple really doesn't want you to be faking your location and spoofing it. Anywhere between like, hacking cell towers from AT&T just so your IP actually matches up with the service provider. And look, we're literally talking about, bypassing Facebook's two-factor authentication by having fake SMSs and then receiving a fake two-factor code. The whole shebang leaked absolutely everything, growth and marketing, but the new potential of Reddit, super CTA heavy based, instant authority. But why did we do this, right? So for like basically every niche out right now, it should be a death sentence. You can just give out all of your SOPs, just like, yeah. And then, buy the course that has exactly what we just talked about, but this time you paid $5,000 for it. The reason why we did that is because the things get patched immediately. We knew that giving out this information, we had a 30-day window before all of this doesn't work anymore. The thing is, we've been in the industry for a few years, so our turnaround time while everyone was like just trying to fix like all the patches and trying to figure out what the meta engineers actually did to block you from being successful, it took us like 2-3 days. But for everyone else, it took weeks, maybe even months. Maybe they won't even recover from this because like while they were busy begging, we were busy building. And so they can't get back to making money as they used to because they don't have the method anymore. And when we give a lot of people that didn't have the method, now they actually started making money. So in a sense, this was like a hidden challenge funnel for 30 days, where it was like these people just came in, made a profit from the free information they were giving. Like to this day, I still get DMs from people like thanking me on how I changed their lives, how they're making $10,000 a month now just off my free videos, which I'm not even gonna take credit for because it's like, man, this got patched within 30 days of me posting it 9 months ago. Like, okay, maybe I had something to do with it, but that's on you, really. And it started an absolute word of mouth frenzy because these guys just got a ton of money off of the free information. We never even said we were dropping an info product at this point. And then all the experienced guys were pissed because now their entire business model, the thing that they need to pay rent for, doesn't work anymore. And we were back up and running in 2-3 days. So with the influencing aspect, how did we achieve that? So influencing, what is influencing? Influencing is, perception, right? Influencing somebody, especially online, you just have to show a narrative in a 9:16 frame. That's why all these scam gurus get away with the, fake lifestyle content they're making, but they actually don't know what they're talking about. Is because you only have to believe 60 seconds of a life they show you in this much space. And what that does is it reinforces a subconscious thought. And a good example of this is like Sam Millsap right now. Like in this video, why is he wearing glasses? Right? He's got to reestablish his brand. A lot of people are coming out that he's actually a scammer and he's an idiot that doesn't know what he's talking about. May or may not be true. I didn't really look too much into that. But this was his brand from the start. So now his perception of himself has to change so he can change the perception of the hive mind that's attacking him. Why he's wearing glasses? He wants to seem smart, wants to seem educated, time to grow up or whatever. He's using the psychological attacks to establish more money. So this is way deeper on the surface level of I'm just an influencer. Like this is psychological warfare. One of the great books that I read that taught me all about this that you've seen pop up here is Red Marketing. I'm going to get into that in a second. So what did I do to establish a subconscious narrative and make something exist from nothing? I went in and I got a bunch of fake SMSs and made tons of fake Telegram accounts. And I would go into these large industry group chats, like with 20,000 followers. This is the same screenshot of the same group chat. I didn't care to screenshot 5 different group chats. You get the point. And I would go in there, and these group chats have active moderators that ban you immediately at any hint of self-promotion. So I would take these fake Telegram accounts, and I would go into these group chats, and I would link my old video. And I would go, trying to not get banned for promotion, I would go, hey guys, I'm kind of new here. Like, is this true? Does this method still work? Like, because if it does, this seems way too good to be true. I'd go onto a fake Telegram account, another one, and then I would respond to it and be like, what the hell? Why would they post that? Like, yeah, I saw this. What are these guys allergic to money or something? Right? Like now I can't, like my method of how I'm making all my money, it's ruined because they give it away for free. Right? But now this is instant intrigue to both audiences. The people that were already making money and didn't even want to watch a video in the first place, and the people that didn't make any money that are, fiending for this video. And they see all this drama being stirred up. So they're like, this isn't your regular video. Let me watch this. And that immediately started this, hive mind association. A quick, overview of like what a hive mind is. It's like, those like cliques in high school or whatever, where, it's this group of people that have this set opinions that they don't even know why they have those opinions. But because they're in this clique and because this one person thinks this way and this one other person thinks this way, now they have this set of opinions that they believe in for no apparent reason other than the fact that someone else believes it. So while we were, creating this fake hive mindset it actually turned into like a real hive mind that, oh my God, these guys are the beacons of truth in this like super gate kept industry. And so when they came to any of our videos, it would be insanely CTA heavy. You know, I would be talking about how I'll message you one-on-one if you just join this community, Like I'll put up screenshots of, you know, how much people love the advice they're getting from me that I'm secretly giving out, everything. And so this video then would funnel them into the group chat, and then the group chat into the hidden opt-in where I was collecting everyone's information. What brought this to light was this book I read. It's called Red Marketing. It was made in collaboration with the CEO of Yum Brands. If you don't know what Yum Brands is the parent company of like KFC, Taco Bell. So this guy is the GOAT, okay? This guy, think about how hard it is just to sell somebody something. This guy literally sold millions of people poison that lowers your lifespan for money and made a profit. Genius, right? I'm not trying to get sued. Maybe it's not poison. Okay, whatever. Like, you know, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to make a joke. Genius. But one of the things he said that stuck out to me is people pay to join a tribe. Think of Chrome Hearts, for example. This is why I put it up here. $15,000 for a pair of jeans. Who the hell is paying $15,000 for a pair of jeans? It's because they're so rare. Like, there's only 3 pairs in the world. No, it's not because they're so rare. Like, if that was the case, I'll take the jeans off me right now and be like, hey, these are one-on-one Todorov jeans. 60 bands. The thing is, no one would buy that. People buy Chrome Hearts for the same reason people buy, you know, Rolex. It's a status thing. It's a tribal thing. People buy Chrome Hearts not because of the brand, not because it looks so cool. It's because Drake wears Chrome Hearts. It's because they want to fit in with the community of, like, you know, the rich online money kids in Miami that probably all wearing fake Chrome anyways, but they want to be associated with that. They want to be associated with success, or they want to be associated with this certain type of persona. Like, a good example of this would be Nike, for example. Like, you're not buying Nike because the swoosh is just that sick. You're buying Nike because you associate yourself with, like, a runner, for example. That's why you buy Nike. You buy Nike because you want to portray yourself to the world that you're fit or active. You know, that's where this term on brand comes from. Because you're not, you know, some geek that just like buys some like random off-brand Puma shirt. You're one of the cool kids now that wears Nike. You understand? Like, people pay money to join a tribe, and it's not just idiots this way. Like, this is pure human evolution to think this way, because if you don't think this way, you are an outcast. And most of the times in history, if you had that mentality, you're dead. Right? You don't want to be the black sheep. So you want to be, you know, fit in with the narrative, what's trending. So what we did to establish this tribal thing was, you know, you would think, okay, if this opt-in, you wanted to maximize the number of contacts that you could get from this opt-in, you'd make it public, right? Wrong. We made it private, okay? Made it private because not only does it have this, you know, higher status that it's like, okay, all the other group chats that I'm in are public. This one's private. Why is this one's private? They don't want me to know what's inside. Like, what? They have to review me before I'm allowed to get in. So it gave this like red belt authority where it's like, it may not even be cooler than the other ones, but because you can't get in, now you want to. But we didn't just stop there. What I did is I didn't let people in. I would kick absolutely everybody, or like I would let in 50-50. And the rest would go back into the other group chats and speak about, why the hell did I not get let in? What's in that group chat? Can someone in here tell me what's in this group chat? I didn't get let in. Why am I not let in? Now I have to make a whole different Telegram account just so I can hope that I get let in this time. Why did I get declined? Who's in this group chat? What are they talking about? Well, what's the free lead magnet in there? Is it really that good? What's going on? And then people would be like, yeah, it's actually great. And it would just spread this word of mouth frenzy. So for the act and the urgency stage, it's going to be in part 2. The reason why it is in 2 parts, because the YouTube algorithm favors it that way. The YouTube algorithm works by not just the metrics that you're able to see, but by other metrics that are not just specific to your channel, but specific to YouTube itself. YouTube checks everything, right? And one of the most important metrics isn't about if they watch the full length of your video. While it's great, what YouTube really cares about is to make more money. So if they watch your full video and it was amazing and it got 100%, people watched the whole thing, but then they immediately just left YouTube after that, YouTube's going to down rank that video. It's not going to get any reach because, yeah, it was great. What they want to see is not just watch time, they want session time. They want for you to convince people to stay on YouTube. And it's even better if not only they watch this full video, but then they watched another one of your videos, because now YouTube's not ranking you as you made a good video. They're ranking you as this is a good channel that gets people in YouTube and keeps people on YouTube. So then they uprank it tremendously. Not a lot of people talk about this for some reason. And, you know, in some of the marketing articles, you know, they say, okay, the easiest way, the best way to take advantage of this is just through making series content and having a playlist. But because I think differently, because I have kind of an outside perspective on all this, I think that this is terrible. Because if you came in here and in the first minute, you know, you saw me just talking like to the old subscribers, right? You're like, you know, what the hell am I, like, there's 5 more videos on this and this is all like 7 hours long. Like, you're telling me I'm not going to learn everything in this one video that was 40 minutes? You know, that's it. You click off. So the best way is to just break it up into 2 parts. That way, the only people that even go to part 2 were the people that were interested in part 1 for the most part. And we're like, oh, wait, the value in here is actually so helpful. Yeah, I do want to watch the rest. And so, you know, they say like, put it in series content, put on autoplay. I disagree. This is why I'm telling you exactly what I'm doing. There's no, you know, behind the scenes, like giddy stuff where like I'm trying to pull one over you. This is why I broke it up into 2 parts. And I'm not going to break every video up into 2 parts because it's honestly really annoying. Like, even though it might up boost me in the algorithm, it's not worth it for the viewer satisfaction of the channel, you know, which matters in the long run. And another way is, you know, YouTube, I don't know if you've noticed, but like over time now, you start to see longer and longer and longer videos pop up. And that's because they start rewarding videos that are way longer. And why not just have one video that's 6 hours? Well, because having one video that's 6 hours is not as quite as effective as having 30 videos that were all 30 minutes long. Because now you hit every area that they want you to hit. They hit the person watched the entire video and he stayed on YouTube and he stayed on this person's channel. So this is exactly why I'm doing this. I could have made all of this in part 1, but just to teach you guys something and just to show it working in action, part 2 is going to be linked right up here. It's going to be the next video popped up. It's going to be the first link in the description. And don't forget about this Instagram. No, this is not a hidden opt-in. I don't have anything to sell you, but I just need your leverage to be able to grow the brand out and achieve what I'm trying to get after. Okay. So the videos, the course-worthy videos are for free. Just DM me on Instagram. I'll send you the link. You'll have a community of people there. And also that's going to be like my job board. So if I ever need a copywriter or somebody to, you know, fix up the funnel, like I'm going to be hiring from there. So even if you are a copywriter and you have nothing to do with it, get in there because I'm going to start hiring people for my group first rather than, you know, looking for them in any other way. Should I start quoting ancient Sanskrit knowledge on you guys right now? See, this is what I mean. Like, I don't look the part, but I'm truthfully, I'm a geek, bro. Like, I'm a nerd about this. So if you want to see some more nerd shit, part 2, me up here. You know, click it. What do you still do? Do you not want to make money? Like, I'm teaching you everything. This content isn't even for you to be watching it. I'm using this content to make money with other business owners to just showcase how smart I am in business. And you're watching it for free. Part 2 is right here if you want to make money or not. I don't care. You stay broke.